Hello, Cheetah Sisters, my Cheetah Girls. Um, I came prepared with a list today of things to yap about. I am waiting for my caffeine to kick in. I got a Monster today. The gas station I stopped at did not have any good Red Bull flavors. I didn't want to start my morning like that. But I do like some Monster flavors, so I got a Monster. I'm feeling like a monster, if you know what I mean. I don't even know what I mean. I don't know what I meant by that at all, actually. Anyways, I did come with a list of things to yap about today. Um, I don't know if I will stick to them. Some of these I think are kind of stupid. But one thing I do want to start with is I saw this tweet last night. Okay, I'm gonna read it to you. It says, I got invited to a baby shower, and on the invite, it said, please purchase gifts from the baby registry. I'm sorry, if you invite me to a party and then tell me where and how to buy a present, I'm not coming, and you're not getting no present. And then like later on, like in the replies, they went on to say like they don't reward rudeness. And I just have some thoughts. Um I I don't see what the big deal is about buying a gift off the registry. Number 1. Number 2, like it's not about you. It's about this is a baby shower. It's about the baby and the parents, specifically like the mom who was giving birth to the baby. Like the baby shower, you're showering the baby gifts. I don't see where the disconnect there is. And I also like I don't see the problem with a registry. Like I feel like the attack is on the registry and the existence of the gift registry. But it's like how else are you gonna make sure that people you don't end up with 30 of the same thing? I just don't I feel like we're angry for no reason here. Um and actually I'm about ready to just move on. I don't get it. I don't reward rudeness. What's rude about asking you to purchase from the gift registry? I hate the internet and I hate how we feel entitled to complain about everything. Why are you complaining about a gift registry? If you don't want to buy anything off the registry, if you think the registry is ridiculous, don't go. Why are you on the internet complaining about the registry? You look dumb as fuck. Like, oh, let me stop. Let me stop. Okay. Anyways, I'm not actually that mad about it. I do think it is weird, like just in general, not even just this tweet, just in general. Like I feel like the internet makes us all so miserable because everyone just gets on there and complains and complains and complains about nothing. But like, okay, I'm getting off my soapbox. I haven't even stepped on my soapbox yet, but I'm gonna kick the soapbox away. We're not doing this today. Um, Another thing that I had that I could talk about is so before my current job, I worked at a law firm, which is it's a you would think that's a joke. Do I look like I belong at a law firm? I don't know if I don't know if I do. Um, all of my most of my coworkers were much older than me. Um, and I liked a handful of my coworkers there. Most of them I could do without. Um, but I just think, and not to, okay, mind you, I did not only work at this law firm, I managed a department in this law firm. And then I like wasn't good at it. Like, I just feel like when you hire someone of my age to manage a department, mind you, keep in mind also, the people in the department that I was managing were about my age too. So, I don't really know what else you expected from the situation. We're just a bunch of girls. No work is getting done. What do you mean? These are my besties. You want me to tell her to put her phone away? Oh my god. Oh my god, that is so ew. So I this is so gross. I oversaw the mailroom and the administrative department. They're they're sister departments. They're like this. I whatever. But the mailroom was not exceptional under my rule. For the reasons that I just talked about, because that's gang. What do you mean that I have to go in there and be their manager? That's embarrassing. Ew, I'm not doing that. And like then I'd be getting in trouble for them doing stuff that they weren't supposed to be doing or not doing stuff that they were supposed to be doing. And oh my god. I also didn't care. Um that law firm I I don't want to okay. I feel like a lot of what we did was a little bit evil. Um they did do debt collections. I know. I know. Please don't shoot. I'm sorry. I needed a job, okay? I if it I was a bad employee, if that helps. Like I wasn't I'm on your side. I it's not my proudest moment. That's probably the job I'm most ashamed of ever having done. Like if I get into my resume or if I even just start talking about past jobs, I don't usually like to highlight that one too much. I'm not proud that I ever did that job. Um Also, it's the most boring job I've ever had. Um a lot of times I was just sitting by myself in my office. I had an office. What business do I have having an office? It had a window and everything. A lot of time I was caught multiple times just standing at the window staring down at the parking lot. Like I I didn't care. I fear I just didn't care. I didn't care about what we were doing. In fact, I hated what we were doing. And I was like, you know, I hope they sue us back. I hope they do, and I hope we lose. Um Partially just because I am a hater at heart and it like the job was making my life suck. So, I wanted their life to suck too because misery loves company. And yeah, I do. I do love company. I like to bring others down with me. So, yeah. Um, but I do feel like I had no business doing that. Like I had no business anywhere near a law firm, really. Um, I don't think I took anything from like I feel like all of my jobs I've taken something from them. That one, I think the only thing I've ever taken from that job is um the ability to manage my Outlook inbox better and like create rules to send things to specific folders. That's a neat thing that I learned at that job. Nothing else relevant to my life came from that. Um Also, that's one of well, I don't know if this is true. That's one of the first jobs that I worked where I didn't like have any like I didn't come out with any friends. Like I all my other jobs I've even if we fell out of touch after I stopped working there, like I had a friend or two. Like when I worked at Schoolcraft College in the registration office and I was a student employee in there. So, a lot of my coworkers were also student employees, also college students were all the exact same age. I love that job because I love having coworkers my own age. And also that job was really easy. And also I was really just interacting with other college students. So like I don't know, it was really low likelihood that I would encounter like a Karen. Um but I don't remember where I was going with that. But yeah, I didn't come out with any friends really from that job, of the law firm, I mean. Um so I would say the closest thing I had to friends when I worked there was the two girls in the mailroom that I was supposed to be managing. But really, we were just girls. I was just in there giggling all day. Um, I spent way more time in the mailroom than I was supposed to, probably. And you know what? I bet. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the two girls in the mailroom um, were like my only friends there, really. Because they were kind of the only other people my age that worked there. And actually, one of them was quite a bit younger than me. She was like, I think she's 19. I'm about to be 25. But what's that's really not in teenage girl years. That's not that big of a difference. And like in my mind, I am also a teenage girl. Um, I'm just a girl, a 20-year-old girl in her teens. That's backwards. Teenage girl in her 20s. That's what I meant to say. Um, so like those were my girls. We were hold on, there was three of us. So we were like this, just being there giggling all day, fucking around, not really doing what we were supposed to be doing. Anyways, they both quit. They both quit on the same day. They both quit on the same day in the middle of the day. Walked into my office, handed me their badges, and I still remember the one girl said, "Liz, we love you, but we don't love you enough to stay." And I said, "Oh, right. Okay, no, for sure, for sure." Um, yeah, they both handed me their badges and walked out. That was cool, very dramatic of them. And honestly, I can't even be mad because if you were there, if you understood why they walked out, I'd walk out too. So basically, like their desks were in the mailroom, because that's where they were working. But like everybody else was like out. They just had like cubicles, but they were all together. If that makes sense. My nightmare, my hell, really. Um, but some things were transpiring. They wanted to hire someone else. They wanted to hire a lead, really, to put in the mailroom to keep them on track. Because I don't know if they knew that I was probably part of the problem, but I think they thought, oh, if we get another teenage girl in her 20s in here, she'll keep them on track. Um, so they wanted to move one of the girls out of the mailroom and into one of the little boring cubicles outside. Um, and I personally, for the record, was devastated at this idea because I was like, where are we going to hang out? Where are we going to giggle? Like, now what? Why would you do that? I was devastated. I was furious and I was angry. I also had a lot of feelings like I was the manager. I know this is going to sound crazy given all the context I just gave you, but this all happened before I was a bad employee, in my opinion. Um, but I felt a lot of the time like I was the manager, but like not really. Um, like this was my team, right? But I had zero say in whether one of them moved out of the mailroom or not. Like no one even talked to me about if I thought that was a good idea. If they had, I would have told them like I think that's a horrible idea. They're both going to be really upset about it. The other thing was they wanted them to move out of the mailroom to cross train into the other department that I managed. The other department that I managed is boring as fuck. I wouldn't want to do that shit either. Um, but they wanted one of them to come out of the mailroom and cross train into that department. Um, neither I tried to approach when I was told that this was going to be happening and basically told like this is not an option, like this is what's happening. I presented it to them like an option. And I was basically just like, hey, how would one of you feel about cross training and learning some admin responsibilities? And then the one girl immediately was like, no, I'm good. I'm so good on that. Which, like I said, I get. But the other girl was like, okay, yeah, maybe. How like how much of a raise would I get? And I was like, that's a really good question. Um, and I knew damn well, I knew the answer. I already knew the answer before I even asked. I knew damn well they weren't gonna give these bitches another penny. This law firm, never mind. But I was like, there's no way they're giving these bitches a raise. But I did ask. I went and I asked, and I said, hey, do they get a raise for cross training into this other department? And they were like, no. Why would they? Right. No, for sure. Why would they get a raise for learning new skills and cross training into another department and then becoming, more valuable to the team by knowing how to do more? Why would they get a raise? You know what? That's a dumbass question. That's on me for even asking. I'm sorry I even asked such a stupid ass question. So then I had to go back to the girls and be like, So there's no raise involved, and then she was like, okay, so me like no, I'm good. Like I don't want to learn new stuff and be expected to do new things, and then also be expected to help out with my old job with no additional money. Like that doesn't make sense for me, and it's really not worth it. And I was like, I totally get that. So now I'm back at square one because I presented this to them like an option, if you recall. It wasn't an option. So now I have to basically like, so when I asked if you wanted to do that, it was kind of a rhetorical question. They're gonna make me make you do it. Um and she didn't take that well. She's like, I don't want to learn this other department. I don't want to move out of the mailroom where I have my own desk. I'm in a separate room from everybody else. I don't want to move out there into a cubicle with 30 other people. Um yeah, I don't want to do that. If that's the case and if like that's my only option, I'm just going to find another job. Which devastated me, and it did feel like being stabbed in the heart because I do get irrationally attached to people, especially in a work setting. I kind of do that. But then, so she said that was devastating. Then the other girl's like, if she's gonna quit, like I don't want to stay here. Like I don't want to work here without her. And also she didn't want to train another person in the mailroom. She had trained this other girl. Had trained like the girl who was in there with her. She had trained me. She had trained the girl who quit before the other girl. Like she had trained a lot of people, and she'd been there for less than a year. So she was kind of just like, I don't want to train someone else in here again. Like I'm over it. I've had enough of that. So she was basically like, if the other girl quits, I'm gonna quit too. And I was like, I'm cooked. It's over. It's over because I knew without the two of them in the mailroom, I was going to be miserable and I was going to hate that job. Because before they quit, I didn't love the job, but I was like, it's definitely like I can do this. It's fine. It was fine. That's a good way to put it. It's like it was nothing I enjoyed doing, nothing I was proud of doing, but like it paid my bills. Um so uh yeah, I was in my office one day. This all took transpired over the course of like a week. I was in my office one day and the two girls uh came in after we had had a conversation again about one of them having to move out of the mailroom. And they closed my office door as they came in, and I said, oh, you closed the door? You coming in here to yell at me? And she was like, yeah, kinda. And I was like, oh, right. So I don't even really remember what was said. I know that they there was yelling, and I know that they both clarified multiple times, which I appreciate because they know I'm sensitive. They both clarified multiple times, like we're not mad at you, but we are mad at um, everyone above you and everyone else here and the situation itself. We think it sucks and we think it's shitty. And I was like, for sure. I also thought I thought it was really shitty the way it was handled. I thought that I was really annoyed that I'm supposed to be their manager, yet I was involved in making none of these decisions. Never even really told that the decisions were being talked about until the decision was made, and then it was my job to deliver the decision you made. Bitch, fuck you. Ooh, sorry. I didn't realize I was still so heated about this. This was over a year ago. I don't know. I clearly am still angry about this. Um, but so they made it very clear that they were not angry with me, which, like I said, I am very sensitive, so I appreciated. Um, and basically they were like, is there any way we can convince them that this is not a good idea? And I was like, I fear not. The decision's kind of already been made. Like I said, I told them, I was very honest with them. I wasn't part of the decision. They didn't ask me what I thought. It was just like, this is what's happening. So they were very frustrated, and they were also very frustrated, like on my behalf as well, because we had already often felt like the three of us, or even just like the mailroom in general, wasn't really taken seriously. A lot in part because of our age and because we were all really young compared to all those fucking dinosaurs that worked there. Um, So I think that they were also very angry on my behalf that I wasn't a part of the decision, and that a lot of times they like the people above me really didn't view or treat me as their manager, which is like, um, this is what you hired me to do, is it not? Like, you hired me to be their manager. So at what point I only have to manage her when I have to deliver the fucking dictatorship law that you just laid down. Now I have to deliver it. Like, it was stupid. It was very stupid. Um, so yeah, the one girl basically was like, they kind of looked at each other, and she was like, "I'm not doing this," and I was like, okay, and yeah, they kind of were just like, "Sorry." It was middle of the day, like it was noon, so they both handed me their badges, and they walked out, and then I cried because I be crying. I'm a crier. Um, and then I had to walk, I had to walk to HR to give them their badges. Mind you, I'm still crying. I'm walking through the building, tears streaming down my face still, because I'm sensitive, and even though they said it was like they weren't quitting because of me, I still felt like I should have done something differently to prevent them from quitting. Like when, I don't know, it's just like when multiple people quit, you have to reflect and be like, okay, so this was something on me, right? That's how it feels, at least. Like they both quit, so it really felt like just that I should have done something differently. So I had to go turn their badges in. I also, like I said, I knew I was going to be miserable without them because I didn't really have any other friends to like talk to, or gossip with. We loved to gossip. And then some things transpired after the two of them quit, because I was unfortunately still there for like another 7 months. That's how long it took me to find another job. I started looking for another job the day they quit. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. It took me 7 months to find another job. So I was stuck there without them for a while. But some things transpired in that 7 months that I was like, oh, this is so juicy. This is so juicy. That's my biggest like, what if, I guess, is like, what if they had still been there? We would have had a ball with all the gossip. Some really crazy shit happened. The police had to come up there a few times. People got fired. It was just, it was so juicy, and they weren't even there to share in that with me, which is really devastating. So after they quit, I really stopped caring, and I really just like, I never got over like the grudge that I had against the people above me for making that decision and for making them quit. And part of me does kind of wonder if like, if they wanted them to quit and if they wanted me to quit. I did quit at a bad time, I will admit, but like I said, it took me 7 months to find another job. So when you find it, you take it and you go. Sorry, but I quit right before. It was like 2 weeks before my boss was supposed to go on maternity leave. So I was gonna be like supposed to be taking over a lot of some of the stuff that she was doing. So I quit, and then she had to go on maternity leave 2 weeks later. I don't know what happened after that. They were probably fucked. Don't really care. Don't piss me off. Um, but yeah, working there was interesting. Um, after you piss me off as an employer, after you piss me off, it's really hard to come back from. Because now every little time you irritate me, now I'm like, yeah, this place is fucking evil. It just like reaffirms my belief that I hate you. Um, so there's that. But yeah, so I worked in a law firm, was a horrible employee there. I should have led a revolt because little do they know, a lot of their fucking employees hated there. So I should have put together a small army and led a revolt on the whole building. So, yeah. Um, what else I got on this list? Oh, I have a few things I could talk about. Football. I did get into football last year as a viewer, as a casual viewer, mind you. I don't know anything about football really. I know the basic rules. Like, I'm watching a game, I can follow what's happening. Um, but I really don't know a ton about like the little intricacies. But I did start watching last year with Gabe. Because like I started watching towards the. I'm a bandwagon fan. In case you were curious, but once the Lions started to get good towards like the end of last season and like they like made the playoffs, Gabe was very emotionally invested. So like Gabe's emotionally invested. Now I'm like, well, I got to see what this is all about. I didn't grow up in a football family. My family, I grew up in a hockey family. Like I don't know shit about hockey. Like I don't care about sports, but like when I was growing up, we were watching Red Wings games. We weren't watching Lions games. Um, so I got into football last year with Gabe, and then I realized like I discovered like this is kind of fun actually. Like this is fun as fuck. I'm having a great time. So I watched like the end of the season last year with Gabe. Um, I recall unfortunately the devastating loss to the 49ers in the NFC Championship. That shit hurted. It's worse because like last year I wasn't super emotionally invested last year. Like I was more so emotionally invested in Gabe's emotional investment. So I when they lost and it made him very sad, it then made me very sad. But like this year, I watched the whole season this year. So I had a lot more understanding of like the context of last year and of the 49ers game and like how crazy it is that they even got to that point. Um, I'm not ready to talk about the loss from this year yet. We're just gonna move past that. But so I did get into football like casually, and want I want people to know that I like football in the girliest way possible. I don't I'm very sentimental, I'm very emotional. I don't care about stats. I don't care about who on a different team is better at this position. I don't care about the random ass numbers you're throwing at me. I don't care. I'm emotionally invested. And like I am emotionally invested in the players and like the team in general. Like okay, so I guess I am going to talk about the the loss against the Commanders. Um I understand perhaps Jared Goff did not play his best game. I don't think anyone's trying to argue that. But I really need Twitter to stop being mean to him because why are we being mean to him? It's just making me sad. Like I didn't know he didn't play his best game. But like he played a lot of good games throughout the season. Like I said, I'm emotionally invested. I don't care about stats. I don't care about numbers. And I am emotionally invested in Jared Goff as like a player and as like a human more so than as like a quarterback. Not just Jared Goff either, like all of the players, like Jameson Williams. Don't get me started on Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams to me is my Shayla, my Shayla. Like I just want him to succeed. I really want to succeed, and I want him to be better and make better choices. Me and Gabe get into a lot of discussions about Jameson Williams because we feel very differently. Because I am, like I said, very emotional and very invested. Like the idea of so the Lions right now are losing a lot of their coaching staff. They're taking higher positions and better positions with other teams, which is nice for them, but also devastating for me because I'm thinking of how I would be if I was a player and I would be so emotionally attached to my coach that like if they took another job in another state for another team, that would devastate me. I would be devastated. Um, but I know that like these are professional athletes. They've had plenty of different coaches. They're probably more emotionally stable than me. But it just like in my world, like Ben Johnson leaving would crush me. Aaron Glenn leaving would crush me. I feel like everybody on the defense always spoke so highly of Aaron Glenn. And like even when it was announced that he was leaving and they were all posting like their messages, like I feel like they all had such a great relationship with him. And I just coaches aside, I know that in the off season, players leave, players' contracts expire, whatever. I'm really scared. I'm really scared about some of the players that people aren't sure are if they're going to be back next year, like Tim Patrick, Zadarius Smith. are the only ones I can kind of think of off the top of my head. People are like, "Oh yeah, I don't know if they're gonna re-sign them next year or whatever." That devastates me. That what I thought, but they're friends. But they're not a customer. Why is there a customer? I'm pissed. Why is there a customer at 8:40 in the morning? Don't you know I'm talking about football in here? Don't piss me off. A customer came in, so I had to get up and go go do the job that I'm being paid to do. So you know how it is. I don't remember what I was talking about. I know I was talking about football. Whatever. Moving on. Another thing I have is the TikTok ban, obviously. So the TikTok ban I have a complicated relationship with. Because I love TikTok. TikTok is like crack to me. I find it extremely difficult to just stop scrolling on the app. Like everything, it's always like you know that meme of the guy who's like mining for diamonds, and he turns around and he like starts going back right before he gets to the end where all the diamonds are. That's how I feel about TikTok. Like if I stop scrolling, I'm gonna miss a good one. Like the next TikTok, this is always my thought process. The next TikTok, that's probably gonna be the one. It's gonna be the funniest video I've ever seen, and that's why I can't stop scrolling. Um, and it's especially bad because every once in a while you'll get a really, 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 really funny TikTok, and it just like affirms that belief. It's like, thank God I didn't stop scrolling 2 hours ago. Otherwise, I wouldn't be watching this. Um, so part of me did was like maybe the TikTok ban will be good for me. I very quickly was like, never mind. I would rather just be an addict. Um, so what was it, like 12 hours or something? I don't know. That TikTok was down. It was rough. It was like eerily quiet in my life, in my friend group. Because we're all some TikTok fiends, as everyone else in my age range is. Um, but you know, there is one social media that I could never survive if it was taken down or if I lost access to it. I just simply wouldn't survive it, and I fear that it's Twitter. I know that a lot of people have kind of moved on from Twitter, especially since Elon purchased it. Um, I just can't. I can't let it go. I've had the same Twitter account for over 10 years now. I think it's like 11 or 12. But I've had the same Twitter account since I was like in middle school. I can't let it go. And I used to be really, really insufferable with Twitter. I think I still kind of am, but I used to be way worse, if you can believe that. Because I would tweet every single thought that popped into my head. Anything I thought of was on Twitter. Every thought I had was on Twitter. So, if they ever took that away from me, I really think that it would be emotionally devastating, and I'm not sure I would survive it. I don't know how I would come back from that. Like Twitter is like my diary kind of. Um, and the crazy thing is like I am. Oh my god, Twitter's so much better when you're on Stan Twitter. Like if you have like a thing that you're really obsessed with. Like for me, um, I first made my Twitter. Um, like I said, in middle school. I think I was in 6th grade because I remember when I made it, and I think that I was in 6th grade. But I made it because at the time I was in an era of my life where I was very obsessed with the Disney Channel show Austin and Ally. Like that was my lifeline, that was my bread and butter. Um, I was very obsessed with that show, and I made a Twitter account solely so that I could follow Ross Lynch on Twitter. Like that was my only motivation, was just to be able to follow him and see his tweets. So we really started off on a great note with Twitter. Um, and then obviously I've discovered Stan Twitter, and I was like, oh my god, there's other bitches out there who are also obsessed with Austin and Ellie. This is my family. I'm home. Finally, I'm home. Um, so it was a slippery slope for me. I fell into Stan Twitter immediately. Also because like I would say that um sixth grade was kind of sixth grade was like the first time in my life where I like really had friends, especially friends that I was hanging out with outside of school. In elementary school, I moved every single year, sometimes more than once. Like in second grade, I moved twice. So I was at a new school every year. And I was already a very shy kid. Um, I was I was poor and I looked poor, so it was very hard for me to make friends. And people kind of made fun of me a little bit, um, just because like I never had like name brand clothes on, um, especially shoes. Kids love to make fun of shoes. I think that's why I own so many pairs of shoes now. I'm healing my inner child who only had Walmart Skechers and got made fun of. So now I'm buying whatever shoes I want, and I don't care. I don't care if they're expensive. I don't care if they're from the thrift store. I'm buying whatever pair of shoes I want. I'm healing my inner child. That's what I'm telling myself to justify it. So in elementary school, I didn't really have a lot of friends. In sixth grade, I lived in a trailer park. So I made friends with all the other trailer park hood rats. It was like a big group of us. We were the summer before, it would have been the summer before seventh grade. Because into seventh grade, everybody started moving. Devastating, including me. I also moved, but it was devastating when everybody else started to move. But the summer before seventh grade, that's probably the happiest I've ever been in my life. I can tell you for damn sure it's the most tan I've ever been in my life because I was outside all day, every day, all day. The trailer park had a pool. We were at the pool every day. I I was so tan, brown skin girl. That was me. I might have to cut that out. I don't know why I just did that. But I was so tan. And I was just, like I said, I was just outside every day. We were outside doing something we weren't supposed to be doing every day. And I couldn't even really tell you what we were doing. We were just outside wandering around. At one point, we set up, there was an empty lot, like kitty corner from the trailer that I lived in. Um, at one point, we set up a big ass tent in that empty lot, and we all just had like a week long slumber party in the tent. Like it was really the trailer park that I lived in, you don't even understand, it was really a lawless land. Like, why did they let us do that? Why did they let a bunch of middle schooler, some of them high schoolers, do that? That's a bad decision on their part. And anything that transpired during that week when we were all sleeping outside in a tent, I feel like is their fault. I don't know what happened. I don't remember. I was one of the good kids. Some of the kids were sneaking out of the tent, walking around, doing God knows what. I know some things transpired. Some people were doing things they weren't supposed to be doing, and I was like, y'all are nasty. I stayed in the tent. I'm a good kid. I always have been. Um, but yeah, so that was a thing that we did. Um, the the trailer park also like butted up to this weird wooded area that then like opened out onto a main road. We would go play in the woods sometimes. Just kind of in general doing things you weren't supposed to be doing because like the somebody had cut like a hole in the chain link fence at the back of the trailer park for everybody to like we would just climb through and go exploring in the little wooded area. um I don't remember where I was going with that. Oh yeah, that was just I was outside a lot. That was sixth grade was like the first time I actually really had friends. So I think that I just kind of didn't know how to act. um so that's why I fear I fell victim to stan Twitter, is I was like, friends. It's friends. Friends online. I I think that I can come off awkward in person a lot of the time, but like over text, I have time to think through what I'm typing out and think, does this sound awkward or does this sound weird? Um so I had some friends in the Austin and Ally fandom. Um that was also Ooh, I was gonna say that was the first time I ever wrote fan fiction, but that's not true. Um I was writing Percy Jackson fan fiction before I ever knew what fan fiction was. Like I didn't know that other people were writing stuff like this, like with the characters from Percy Jackson. Like I didn't know other people were doing that. I thought I invented that. Until I got on Stan Twitter, got on the internet, and discovered that fan fiction is a thing. And but that was the first time Austin Alley was the first time I ever wrote fan fiction and posted it onto the internet. And I did find some of it the other day. I was going through some of my old emails, and I did find some of the old fan fictions that I had posted. And you know what? Reading them, they're embarrassing. Like, it's embarrassing because I know that I wrote this, but they're not that bad. Loki, they're not that bad, especially considering I was like 12 writing them. Some of it still holds up. Some of the writing still holds up. Some of the plot lines, not that bad. Also, I want it to be clear that, because I know when people talk about fan fiction, I feel like there's this idea that it's like horny shit, or like smut, as you would call it, or I'll do you one better. Before it was called smut, I remember it being called like a lemon, um or a lime. And I think one of those is for like lesbian couples, the other one's for like gay couples. Austin Alley, I don't know if you know, is a straight couple. But I wasn't writing anything like that. I was writing very innocent shit, very much things that a 12-year-old would be writing. Um, so just put that out there. I've never written anything like smut ever in my life. So I can barely write a kissing scene without feeling awkward. So don't get any notions about me in your head. I'm not a freak. Not that people who write that kind of stuff are freaks. Not what I meant. It's just not for me. It's not something that my brain can conjure up, and it's really not even something that I read. So I do with that information what you will. So yeah, Austin Alley was the first time I ever wrote and posted fanfiction. After Austin Alley, I kind of took like a hard left, and then I feel like I might be skipping a step here. Oh, actually, after Austin Alley, this is kind of like Austin Alley adjacent, but I did get really into Ross Lynch, who plays Austin Moon. I did get really into his band briefly. It's this is embarrassing. This is one of those things I'm not particularly embarrassed by a lot of the things that I used to stan, because I had a lot of phases. But this one I am a little bit embarrassed by, just because like even when I stand it, I knew it was cringe, and like I knew it wasn't that good. Is Ross Lynch's band? And I know he has the driver era now, but it didn't used to be the driver era. It used to be him and all of his siblings. And they used to be called R5 because there's five of them, and all their names started with R. So I was also into that at the same time as Austin and Alley. I'm not proud of that. I'm really not. Just because like I said, looking back on it, like I knew it was cringe at the time. So can you imagine me looking back on it now? Like I'm like, damn, bitch, I really had no standards. I don't even know what I was doing. Like, I was that bored. Why was I even on the internet unsupervised? I was in the middle of the night scrolling Twitter. I got class in the morning. I got school. I got to catch the bus at 6:30. But I'm scrolling Twitter. Why? I didn't even have a phone. I was scrolling Twitter on my mom's phone. After she went to bed, I would take her phone and I would log into my Twitter and I'd be scrolling Twitter on her phone. Was it that serious? It was never that serious. So I did get into that. And after that, again, I don't know. I feel like I might be missing a phase here, but I was into that throughout like middle school ish. My freshman year of high school, I was very into Sherlock, like the BBC Sherlock, like the one with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. I was really into that for about a year. I was also into like, because I know Super Wholock was a thing, Supernatural, Doctor Who, Sherlock. I never got into Doctor Who. I couldn't really get into it. Um, but I did like Supernatural. And I think I talked about Supernatural last time, but like it was just too long. Like not too long, but like it couldn't hold my attention. Like I couldn't really stay invested in the episodes. Like I said last time, the monster of the week thing, I like that. I like the monster of the week, and I like when it's like a contained plot per episode. I didn't really like when they started getting into like the demons and God and like just like bigger storylines. I lost interest about season 5, so I was barely there for Castiel. And I think Castiel comes in season 4. I lost interest right about after that. Because then I just feel like it started getting too much into like too broad of a plot that I didn't really care about. But I was briefly into Supernatural. Sherlock was like my main thing that year though. specifically John Locke, which, if you don't know, is the romantic pairing of Sherlock and John Locke. That was the first time I ever got into like a non-canon ship. It was devastating. Um, and I never, at least not that I can think of. This may be a lie. Well, I never wrote and posted any Sherlock fan fiction. I do remember writing some that never ended up getting posted, but I never posted any of it. Um, but I was reading a lot of it, and a lot of it, like some of the Sherlock fan fiction I was reading, was good as fuck. Like fan fiction writers, just in general, don't get enough credit for some of the quality pieces of literature that they put out into the world for free. It's a labor of love. Like, and a lot of these people, you don't even know their names. It's like a username, a random username on a website. They're getting no credit for this, no love for this, or damn sure not getting any money for it. Like, it really is just a labor of love, and I think that's beautiful. I think there's something beautiful about fan fiction and about how, like I said, you love this piece of media so much that you're like, I need more of it, and I need to take it and I need to make it my own. I love it so much. And so you do that, and like people write like 200,000 word fan fictions for no gain, like no benefit to it. I think that's beautiful. The longest fan fiction I ever wrote was, I have to make sure this doesn't exist anymore actually, because if anyone ever finds it, it's over for me. I'm cooked. Because I know this shit's embarrassing. The longest fan fiction I ever wrote was a 100. Oh yes, I don't think it exists anymore. I must have deleted it at some point. Um, but it was a 100 chapter Austin and Ally fanfiction. Yes. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, it's gone. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Um, it was called 100 Ostley Moments. Ostley is the ship name for Austin and Ally. And just like, it was not a cohesive 100 chapters. It was like 100 one shots, which is just like a story contained to one chapter. Like it's not a multi-chapter story. I wrote 100 of those, and they were all in this fanfiction. And you know what? I almost kind of wish it still existed, because I bet some of it's really good, and I bet some of it's really cringe, and I bet it would be really funny for me to read now as an adult, 10 years later. More than 10. I was not writing Austin and Ally fanfiction at 15. I was writing Austin and Ally fanfiction at like 12, 13. So this fanfiction is more than 10 years old. Um, yeah. So what did I get into after Sherlock? After Sherlock, I got into The Flash on the CW. I got into that. I was only into that for about 2 seasons. With Sherlock, I was in it when I got into it. There were 3 seasons out, and it was just kind of a meme. Everybody was just waiting on season 4, and it season 4 finally came out long after I stopped giving a fuck about that show. Like I still haven't seen it. I will probably never see it. All I know is if Sherlock and John don't profess their love for each other and don't kiss in season 4, I don't really have any interest in watching it. Um, and from what I've heard, they don't. So don't care. Um, but after Sherlock, I think I got into The Flash on the CW. Um, I was specifically very obsessed with Cisco Ramon, the character in The Flash. Like, I didn't actually care about The Flash or Barry Allen. I was watching for Cisco. Um, I never wrote, this may also be a lie. I don't think I ever wrote any fan fiction for The Flash. If I did, I don't think I ever posted it anywhere. No, I think that's a lie, but I think, but if what I'm remembering is accurate, then I did write it and post it, but it was very, very, very short. Like I don't think I posted very much. I may have posted like one chapter. Um, so yeah, I was really into The Flash. And I don't remember, there was like mini phases throughout. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just remembered my John Locke fan account on Instagram. Let me see if I can. Oh my god, I don't see it. Wait, hold on. Can I go on Instagram? Instagram. Instagram. I had this John Luck account. Oh my god. I have to log in. I'm not doing that. Okay, fine. Yeah, we're into my account, by the way, not the John Luck account. I couldn't even begin to guess the password to that account. Or even what email address I used. Okay, picture of Sydney, ass fat. Yeah, no. Yes. Okay, I found it. Oh my god, I can't believe. Ew, I can't believe this exists. My my John Locke fan account on Instagram. I would just make like sad edits for John Locke. Some of these are kind of good. Um, like it's really just pictures. It's just like pictures or like screenshots from the show collaged with oh my god, I forgot what I was saying. I'm distracted by the comments on this one. It's just like screenshots from the show in a collage with like poems or like those quotes like on a picture. It's just stuff like that. Ew. Ew. Okay, so this one, the first one I ever posted, this was in not on no, the stuttering needs to stop now. The first one I ever posted was November 8th, 2014. It is a collage of two photos. The bottom photo is Sherlock looking sad, leaving John and Mary's wedding. Um, and the poem that I had to accompany that, I didn't write any of these poems, by the way. Don't get it confused. I'm not a poet. I did write a pretty good poem one time about Shrek. That's my finest work. But I'm not a poet. And the poem says, I knew I had to give you back. What the fuck? I knew I had to give back to you somehow, and that I love you wasn't good enough anymore. So I went out of my way to make you as happy as can be. I threw out the one thing that made you sad, myself. Um, you know what? Yeah, yeah, that still hits. Oh my god. Okay. All I can ever ask of you is to stay. Just stay. Oh my god. And then so this one is a screen grab of the waltz that Sherlock wrote to play at John and Mary's wedding because Sherlock plays the violin. It's a screenshot of the waltz. And the poem is I wanted to write down exactly what I felt, but somehow the paper stayed empty, and I could not have described it any better. Not bad. Not bad. I have returned from helping another customer. I know. Hold your applause. Hold your applause, everyone. I know. I am doing the Lord's work, ringing up customers for disposable vapes mostly. Anyways, the edits that I have about Reichenbach, which is, I don't remember if I just described this, but it's the episode where Sherlock fakes his death, but John doesn't know it's fake. I don't remember how long Sherlock is dead for. I want to say it's like a year, if not more. But the whole time, John doesn't know that it's fake. Um, and like there's like contextual reasons why Sherlock fakes his death and why nobody can know. Like I do think it's crazy. He should have at least told John because he's lucky John didn't kill himself. Anyways, so I do have some sad ones from that too. This one says, and I cried because it was the best thing I ever had, and I lost it. Gone, gone, gone. But you crawl out of bed, you get dressed, you go to school or work or both. You smile and talk, you forget, and eventually you don't cry anymore because you forget about those feelings, the heartbreak, the pain, the loneliness, and you move the fuck on. I cried because it was the best thing I ever had, and I lost it. But at least I had it. That one's not bad. Ooh, okay. This one's pretty good. I'm gonna stop after this because I know probably no one cares. But this one is, um, I don't even remember why Sherlock has to leave at some point. Like he fakes his death, he comes back, but then he has to leave. He gets exiled, I think. So he has to like leave the country. And I don't remember what he did. It's been years since I've seen this show. But I don't remember what he did. But so he's saying goodbye to John. They're on the tarmac. Ooh, the word tarmac just triggered a memory in me. I don't remember what is said on this tarmac goodbye scene, but I know it used to be a thing within like the fandom. People would always talk about the tarmac scene, the tarmac scene, tarmac scene. Um, anyways, this one's a picture of from the tarmac scene, and it says there are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. And you know what? Oh wait, hold on. No, wait. There's one that I remember I really liked. Where is it? Oh, I found it. You are it's a screenshot of the first time they meet. And it says you are driving through the pouring rain. You go under a bridge, and for a second, everything stops. After the bridge, the raindrops hit you so hard the windows rattle. Meeting you was kind of like that. I was an artist. I had an artistic vision, and I went for it. So yeah, that's that. I don't know if I have too much else. I have on here Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't remember what I wanted to talk about that was Obi-Wan Kenobi related. But I do love that man. I love Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I just feel like I understand that he's a Jedi and that he cannot have those emotional attachments, but I love him and that's my man, you know? Like that's my man. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. It's something about Obi-Wan. And I need to make it clear also, it's not Ewan McGregor. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Ewan McGregor. But it's not him, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's Obi-Wan, the character. Played by Ewan McGregor, yes, but it's not Ewan McGregor, it's Obi-Wan. He's just such a kind, patient, gentle. I don't know, maybe it's something about the Jedi in general, because I'm just naming like qualities of the Jedi's. Like he's very patient and very like noble. Um, I just love Obi-Wan Kenobi. I know he would take good care of me. Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, I was reading this Star Wars fan fiction a few weeks ago. It was Obi-Wan, and it was pretty fire. It's pretty good. Not gonna not gonna say too much to divulge what I do in my personal time, but it was pretty good, and I was like, it was pretty heartaching. I don't even know if that's a verb, but I'm gonna use it as one. Um, yeah, yeah. I think that might be everything I have. We might just leave it on the Obi-Wan Kenobi note. Last night I had wings for dinner. I brought my leftovers to eat for lunchy. I'm smelling them right now through the box, like I'm catching a whiff. They smell pretty tasty, and I hope my fork from last night's in here. And it is. And it is. Shout out me from last night. Shout out that bitch. Anyways, bye, I guess.